fan letters and inhaling violet dust. I gather up this week's letters, 12 besides the one from Curious Fan, all of them gushing love letters to their favorite author and innocent of subtext, stuff them into a large brown mailing envelope, weigh it on our old-fashioned postal scale, and print out the correct postage. A routine that makes me feel like I've gone back to the 19th century. Then I write the address on the front, even though we have printed mailing labels, because it feels like writing to my favorite fictional place, Jane Eyre's Thornfield, or the Castle of Otranto. Veronica St. Clair, Wyldcliffe Heights, Wyldcliffe on Hudson, New York, 12571. There is one other letter, but I don't include it because it isn't favorable at all. In fact, it sounds rather threatening. Dear Miss Clair, it began, the misspelling itself a challenge. I don't know how you can sleep at night knowing all the lives you have ruined. My sister was one of your so-called fans. She defiled her body with those violet tattoos and went looking for that trashy life your book made her want. She was last seen on the streets of New York City, peddling her body for drug money. I wish you and your book had burnt up in that fire. It isn't signed, and there's no return address. In fact, it doesn't have a postmark. Someone must have slid it through the mail slot in the door. It wasn't that hard to Google Gatehouse Books' address online. Gloria had told me early on to keep an eye out when I was entering and leaving the building for any rabid fans or disgruntled writers waiting to pigeonhole an employee about why they hadn't gotten a response about their manuscript yet. That had been unsettling enough, but she hadn't said anything about vengeful family members of St. Clair's readers. And yet, it wasn't the first letter I've read complaining about the effect the book had on a sister, daughter, wife, or mother. Your book is inspiring, a girl who had borrowed the book from her older sister had written, but sometimes I think it inspires unrealistic fantasies. A mother had written to say she'd demanded the town library remove it from their shelves because it was unhealthy and morbid. A psychiatrist wrote to say it encouraged suicidal ideation. The letters had made me angry at first. How narrow-minded. And then they had made me uneasy. Maybe they knew something about the book I didn't. This letter, though, makes me a little scared. I lay it on top of the larger envelope to show to Gloria. Then I look at the time and see it's 10 minutes after 5. Gloria takes the mail to the post office on Hudson Street promptly at 5:15 each evening. I had just enough time to walk down 3 flights of stairs to deliver it to her. As I stuff my things in my tote bag, I am distracted by something Hadley Fisher, the marketing assistant, is saying. He called me in to show him how to set up his Instagram account, she says, rolling her eyes. Hadley, the most tech-savvy in the office, has barely disguised disdain for our Luddite publisher. And he was standing at the window when I came in, staring out at the river. He looked like he was thinking about jumping. It's not high enough. Kayla, the publicity assistant, replies. He'd only break a leg, and the media attention would kill the potential sale. They're talking about Curtis Chadwick, our publisher. 4 days ago, he'd had a meeting with our accounting firm. I'd brought in the coffee and heard the words bankruptcy, merger, and buyout as I was shutting the door. Twice since then, I've come into his office to find him standing at the window looking out at the river. Each time, I'd had the same thought as Hadley. Do you think there will be a buyout? Kayla asks. I don't know, Hadley replies, chewing the stem of her horn-rimmed glasses, which I had begun to suspect aren't even prescription, but merely accessories to the wool cardigans, plaid skirts, and chunky loafers she wears, even in the summer. A nerdy librarian style I've been trying to emulate since I started here. Somehow, my old school uniform skirt, paired with cheap tops and sweaters from H&M, never looked quite the same. He told me there was uncertainty on the horizon and I should consider all my options. That doesn't sound good, Kayla says. My friend at Hachette says there are rumors that they're acquiring us. At least that might save the company, Hadley says.